Hi, I'm Abby French,
And I'm Max Meyer.
and this is our Leadership for Social Justice final project.
Our focus for the project was on ableism, so we did an interview with our art teacher, Miss Hannah.
Okay, this is Miss Hannah. She is the art teacher at the high school, and we're going to interview her today!
Interviews.
Alright, we're just going to jump right in.
Okay. Well, I was diagnosed a little over a year ago. So, end of January, the official diagnosis came in. And the symptoms that led up to my diagnosis were double vision, which sucks. A condition called nystagmus. I finally figured out what the word was for it, which, explaining it, it's basically the entire world's moving back and forth continuously all the time. So my balance is obviously really awful. I kept falling. That was a problem. And since I was pregnant, my obstetrician said, this is a major problem. So prior to that, I'd had plenty of other loads of symptoms over the years that I just kind of either ignored or was told it was all in my head. You know, that's a really good question. I don't, in the sense that I'm glad I didn't have to start my medication any earlier. I kind of am glad that I didn't know, and I did a lot of things because I didn't know. I did a lot of traveling that I couldn't have done with the medication I'm on now, just because I can't really backpack into a canyon with a backpack full of medication that has to be refrigerated all the time. The medication sucks really, really bad. It sucks. So I would say that the medication at this point has been more of the lifestyle change than anything. Primarily, they couldn't do a lot of the testing the way that they would have done otherwise. I couldn't start medication right away. I did a 3-day course of IV steroids because they determined it was riskier to not do it than to do it. So, and also being diagnosed with a illness while you're pregnant is just kind of stressful. Well, and it's different for everybody, so there's no way of anticipating, what my personal experience will be. I might lose my ability to walk, speak, swallow, go to the bathroom. I could lose my vision. Could lose just control over my limbs, weakness, and spasticity and stuff like that. There's a variety of other things. A lot of it's just sensory stuff, just tingling and numbness and things like that.
Do you know when any of this will happen, if it will?
Not at all. No. The way that the disease progresses is your immune system attacks the myelin that covers the neurons in your brain. And so it depends on what part of your brain gets attacked, and how severely it's attacked, and then how many times those attacks happen, eventually leading up to various disabilities. I mean, the brain is such a complicated thing. ADA's made sure that you wouldn't lose your job because of a disability, but it could potentially make my job impossible for me to do. Yeah. The biggest changes during the relapse that led up to my diagnosis, I wasn't able to drive. I wasn't able to really walk very well. I wasn't able to unload the dishwasher. I wasn't able to really do anything. So at that time, lifestyle changes were I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even close my own email. And there's also before and after certain abilities have been lost. Like where I used to be able to walk for 5 miles, no problem. This past weekend, I lost my ability to walk about halfway through. That's a hard thing to anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a 1-story house,
right.
So and that wasn't strategic, but it is convenient. We'll probably, if I'm ever in a position where I'm wheelchair bound, we'll have to widen some of the entrances to the doors. The house is built in '54. not to standard wheelchair width. Some ramps that have to be built. Maybe grateful that I traveled as much as I did. You know, prior to this, I made that a huge priority. So, yeah, I'll probably try to travel more now, knowing that it's unlikely when I'm retired. It's unlikely I'm going to get around Thailand in a wheelchair.
Right.
So now's the time, basically. Yeah. I mean, that, I feel like it'd be sort of irresponsible of me to bring any more kids into our family when I may not be able to care for them the way I want to. So that has definitely influenced it. I think that there are a lot of sort of unseen. It's very obvious if somebody's in a wheelchair or somebody's on crutches or has some is missing a limb or if there's some kind of like physical disfigurement. But there's a lot of stuff that we can't see. I think we can't really know what anybody else is feeling or experiencing. So I think there are a lot of disabilities or just difficulties that people experience that we can't really understand. But it has given me a better sense of navigating through space and doorways and access to sidewalks and taking the subway in New York, or the things that I used to take for granted, like being able to climb down a steep embankment and go swimming, or things like that that are just not accessible and really can't be accessible safely to most people that have mobility issues.